commercial construction coffee talk fans. Thanks for chiming in. My name's David Corson. I'm your host. I'm also the publisher and editor of Commercial Construction Renovation magazine. Hope everybody's doing great today. Just had Hurricane Ida roll through here. You know, keeping the faith and praying for all those people down in Louisiana. Took it on the chin again from another storm. You know, I had an interesting fact that I heard on the web. The last 5 storms that have hit New Orleans have all hit on August 29th and basically in the same area. Is that insane or what? You know, I mean, my son was born on my wife's birthday, so that was kind of crazy. But 5 hurricanes that hit the coast in Louisiana have all hit on August 29th and basically just about the same time. So I know they talk about man-made storms and all this stuff. I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy guy, but it sounds kind of crazy to me. Everything, August 29th. But anyway, we just had Ida roll through here, a lot of rain, you know, but listen, we'll take the rain because here in Atlanta, we let a lot of water out. We feed Georgia, Florida, Alabama from, Lake Lanier. So during the summer, they let all the water out, and during the winter, the lake fills up and it's ready to go for the next summer. So, we'll take whatever rain that we can get. So it was nice having it. And it's time to cut the grass, I think, tonight after I get done here. So with that said, I've got special guests out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Her name is Catie Landis. She's the marketing manager for PPG Industries. If you're not familiar, they do paint. You know, that's their gig, coatings, etc. Am I right, Catie? Say hello from Pittsburgh.
You got it. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, we're glad you can make it. And so, Catie, we do our segments in you got to tell your story. You got to tell us, where you grew up, where you went to high school, college, if you had a brother, sister, who's played any sports, and then we'll kind of get into, the business side of it. And you can't leave anything out because, listen, I can find anything I want on the web. It's just, it's so, tell us your story. The floor is yours.
Great. Well, I am in Pittsburgh, as you mentioned. I actually grew up just outside of Pittsburgh on actually the other side of the city from where I live now. Had 2 wonderful parents and an older brother who toughened me up. So that was fun to deal with and helpful for later in life. But now I live on the other side of Pittsburgh, on the other side of the city with my husband and my 2 toddlers. I have a 3.5-year-old and a 1.5-year-old, both girls, both born in December, and our poor dog Nugget, who takes a beating from them with all their hugs and cuddles that they want to give her. But
is Nugget a girl too?
Yes.
So your husband's in all with females,
husband.
Right? So we have 5 dogs, and I have a son. So my wife's the only female in the house. So you're the other way. So I totally
I am the inverse.
That. Yeah, I totally get that, Yeah.
So I'm sure, make him lose his hair on a daily basis, but he's a trooper. So I got my degree at Penn State, so I'm a Nittany Lion. I had my sights set on Penn State from the time I was little. I was up there in my little cheerleader outfit on the Nittany Lion statue. So kind of a destiny for me. Had a great time there, got a great education. Then coming out of Penn State, I've moved around a bit for my career geographically, but also industry-wise. So I spent some time in the candy industry, spent some time in jewelry, and then I pursued a career at PPG back in Pittsburgh. I've been with PPG for 7 years now. I have spent all of my time in the architectural coatings unit supporting US and Canada. I've had channel marketing responsibilities, customer responsibilities, strategy, but my current role is I drive the awesome team of folks who support our PPG and specialty brands across our business and all of the customers that we serve. I'll say things that I love about my job and PPG. I really like working with my team, who are all super passionate about our customers and providing the best experience to them that we can. I really love understanding what makes our customers tick, what their pain points are, and how we can together solve them and better partner to enable their business. And I also love that PPG is really focused on innovating what we say inside the can, but also outside of the can,
Sure.
which I'm sure we'll get into in our discussion today, that both are really important, right?
So what was your degree at PSU?
Marketing.
That's you're a marketing person. All right.
Yeah,
Good
and I
enough.
had a minor in business law, which I didn't think was going to come in handy, but from time to time when I'm dealing with those trademarks, man, it makes a lot of sense.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So my parents, we were jewelers. I went to I'm GIA certified and
Nice.
built a couple stores and decided after rebuilding them, I was sitting behind the showcase. I was like, waiting for customers to come in. This was not my gig. So, but what did you do in jewelry?
So I worked for a small company that managed both a wholesale arm and a retail arm. So got a lot of, direct to consumer exposure and experience, but also a lot of B2B and figuring out, how we can move mountains of inventory to those retailers who are selling out through their doors as well.
Oh, nice, nice. Well, listen, jewelry was great. It just, like I said, we had, I think about 15 or 20 stores when we met my mom. They got married and they sold the chain to Osterman's, and he kept this one store that he had downtown Dayton for forever. He's like a landmark called Weber Jewelers. And then he said, hey,
Yeah.
we'd like to bring you in. So they built a new building called Citizens Federal downtown next to the Kettering Tower. And we built he was a highline jeweler, Rolex, Mickey Moto pearls, and people sometimes were scared to go into the store because they price tag, but he had other merchandise. So the new store, we made it kind of a different look. And then we got another location down by the Dayton Mall. And after I built the store, like I said, I sat behind the showcase and waiting for customers. I'm like, this is just not me. And but I got GIA certified and have my certificate and all that. So I appreciate anybody that's in jewelry. It's a different kind of gig, and
Very, very different.
And but it was amazing though. We sold a lot of jewelry, but he had all the contracts for like all the big department stores for repairs and stuff, and that was a huge part of his business. And it was amazing to see the craftsmanship that went in. We had an official Rolex watchmaker on site, and but you would go back into the repair part of our building, and it was amazing to see what those guys could do, with jewelry.
Yeah.
Just it's an art, and fine thing, look into the loop. So anyway, that's my jewelry story for all you guys out there who didn't know. So, well, let's talk about the pandemic. So last March, I'm in Milwaukee. I'm looking at hotels for our retreats. And I always say this, Tom Hanks got the bug and March Madness got canceled, and then everything stopped. And then no one knew what kind of happened. And here we are 18 months later, and we're still talking about the stupid bug. Okay, COVID. I'm still talking about the stupid bug. So talk about your business, as far as how, when the pandemic happened, kind of, did you work remotely? And then, what lessons did your firm or yourself, just in general, learn moving forward?
Yeah, I think, from a macro standpoint, we've all been in a swirl of change over the past year and a half, right? And I think, Tom Hanks got the bug and nobody knew what to expect, how long it was going to be, what, industries it was going to impact most significantly. So there were, in the early stages, a lot of just preliminary questions on, what can we expect, and are people going to want to continue their painting projects? Will construction slow down? What should we be planning for? And I think in our industry, interestingly enough, we saw a significant surge in demand.
I'm sure everybody and their mother was either doing their basement or doing their home or doing something. And I know I just did my basement. So when we did my wife's an interior designer, but trying to find primer was what was tough. And look, she had accounts with Sherwin-Williams and Benjamin Moore, all you got. I mean, she uses everybody, but it was amazing when we were doing our basement. I had to call the paint store, and I needed, I think, 20 gallons of primer or whatever for our square footage that we're going to do, and they only had so much left. So I raced up to Lowe's, and I think that's where I got it. One of the big boxes. I went up there, and it was like 10 to 10. I raced up there because I knew the contractors were going to get there in the morning, and they might take it all off the shelf. But that was, but she went to the other paint guy, and he didn't have any primer, so I had to get it from the big box guy, because her normal, she has her general contractor rate, and she buys her from the local paint guys depending on where the project is. And I was like, how could you not have primer? But then again, I'm thinking, oh my God, all these people are doing stuff, so they're fixing their homes up. So your business must have been great.
Yeah, I mean, you're sitting in your now home office, which you might not have been sitting in before, or you're entertaining people outside on your back deck, right? And
I did my deck too.
Yes, yeah.
I did the deck too. Yeah.
I mean, PTL was through the roof. Demand for pressure treated lumber. People were putting decks on left and right. Building on, getting more space to entertain comfortably and safely. So we definitely saw a surge. I mean, you're sitting there and you're staring at your walls that you may not have paid attention to before, and you're thinking, maybe I can make this space a little more comforting or a little more welcoming now that I'm stuck here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So we saw, a significant surge, particularly on the DIY side last year. On the pro side of our business, we did see a little bit of a slowdown because other businesses had uncertainty as well. So what do I do with my budget? What can I expect with the demand for my businesses? Is it safe to work and complete these construction projects? So, a lot of the questions and uncertainty were with our customers as well on the B2B or on the pro side of our business. But then once people started getting out more, getting a feel for the direction that consumers were moving, starting to see those trends. I think we saw a lot of shifts in the past year, but they happened very quickly. And once everyone started getting a read on those, then we started getting a read on our customers, and the demand on the pro side started to rise again. And we're seeing this year that the recovery has been very quick, because when you're lapping all of that pent up demand from last year, where construction kind of halted for no reason other than just not being able to work, or, not having that, being able to plan that project, we're now seeing that recovery come back pretty quickly this year in 2021.
Well, paint coatings, it's kind of it's not like flooring. Flooring's the last thing you put in, on a project. So, but paint, whether it's new construction, renovation, depending if it's exterior, interior, but on an interior, once you do the drywall, it's time to paint. So it's kind of right in the middle. So, your projects, depending on when they were stalled or when they were put on hold, or maybe even payment plans. I've talked all through the pandemic. I talked to architects, contractors, end users, the brands. They didn't want to pick up the phone because they didn't want to tell their vendors, hey, I'm putting everything on hold, or my payment plans are going to 180 days, or I don't know, do they want to answer your email? Because everybody just didn't know what was going on. Call me back in a month, I'll know something. Call me back in 2 months. Now we're looking at, this thing's been here 18 months. So, but the biggest thing, let me ask you this. I mean, you were working in your office and stuff. So what about, did people, did people work out of their homes? Did you guys have a hybrid, or how did that work internally?
Yeah, so I mean, our business is very large. We have a significant number of employees out there. We had employees in our plants and facilities and our distribution centers still working the front line as a necessary business. We had folks in the lab still having to report in to work on, all of their projects. hands-on. We had folks in our stores business still servicing our customers. But we definitely, PPG did a nice job of making sure that our employees were working as safely as possible and providing flexible options so that we could manage through that accordingly based on our role. So I personally have been working from home primarily since the pandemic. I've gone in from time to time for certain critical meetings that are best done in person, and customer meetings and things. But for the most part, I've been in my newly created home office that I feel like I've gotten organized nicely enough at this point.
Well, the other thing is that a lot of people, they want to keep that corporate culture, but I think a lot of firms have found out that they've become more efficient, that they actually can trust their employees, that, they can work out of their house. They don't have to go through rush hour traffic. They don't have to go through the meat grinder of the metal drain, burning gas and, all that stuff. And that they can actually still have a life, see their kids, grow up. And some people have to be in the office. They're just not built to be at home. But others have found out that, hey, I don't need all this big space. I don't need it. And I know the real estate guys don't want me to hear that, but that's the reality of what's happened. And a lot of people said, wow, meetings that took an hour and a half take 20 minutes. There's no gossip at the water cooler, any of that stuff. And if they do want to come in, it's nice that you know where I'm coming from. And and I've had these conversations with all sorts of people, and it's been amazing to see how people all kind of went through the same kind of, thinking of how am I going to make it? How am I going to keep my corporate culture? But I also, wow, we're so much more proficient. We've learned technology, and, do we want to go, the pendulum has swung so far back to the side. Now it's kind of coming back. Now, will people go to trade shows? Will they get back on planes? Sure. We're social animals, but it'll be different. It just will. And I think that, I always use this story. I had a project manager. He told me one day he was in Saudi Arabia, Bahrain. He was in South Africa. He was in Europe, Canada. He was in South America and did a couple of walkthroughs in the United States. Pre-COVID, that would have taken him weeks to do. Now using Zoom or whatever, virtual platform you're on, you can do that all in one day. And you don't even have to, leave your home, or your office, depending on where you're at. So it, hearing all these stories is just amazing to see how people have kind of adapted, migrated and become flexible with it. And like myself, I'm a million miler in Delta. I haven't gotten on a plane since last March. Do I care to get on a plane? No. Do I miss my buds? Absolutely. I want to see my friends. But it is what it is. And but technology, I think this is here to stay. And
I know. Yeah. We've seen it's not only a shift in ways of working, in a corporate culture, but even, managing your day to day, personally, professionally, everything has shifted digitally. And we've seen that, in areas where there's been more hesitancy to shift digital, the pandemic has essentially forced people there, right, outside of their comfort zone, changing behaviors because they didn't have another choice. And we're in a way seeing a lot of people become more open to it and comfortable with it because they had no other option. So we've seen a lot more paint orders online, which previously was a area of discomfort for both pros and DIYers because, you can't necessarily guarantee that.
You got to see that paint in the,
yeah.
You can see it in the store, but until you get it in there with the right lighting, and that's not blue, that's gray, so.
Exactly. So, everyone's been trying to find solves for their customers in this world of being more virtual and digital. And, we launched a color consultation service virtually. So you could take a color consultant around your house with you on Zoom or FaceTime and get that consultation service. We've been helping, with professional color renderings, to overcome some of that in-person face-to-face consultation that we would typically have. So there's just this now acceleration in the digital world for these industries like paint that was kind of a laggard in digital prior to the pandemic. And I know we've seen, painting contractors, we've seen research where, over the next few years, they're expecting to purchase more than half of their products online, when previously it might have been less than a quarter of their purchases made online. So definite shifts, not by choice, but now that they're there, seeing the benefit of it. And I think it's forced manufacturers and suppliers to rethink the way that they service their customers.
Yeah, I was a print face-to-face guy, and then COVID came, and we went digital. And the last 3 months, we've had 2.5 million people hit our website. I mean, it was going up,
Wow.
but we consistently for like last three months or 4 months. When I crossed 2 million, I was freaked out. When I crossed 1 million, I freaked out. I was never over 1 million. I had a digital magazine forever. I had 15,000 pages of content, but I never really. I used it as kind of looked at it as my stepchild, because I was a print guy, like holding the magazine in my hands. But then I went digital, and when I crossed 1 million, I was like, wow. Then when I crossed 2 million, but the last few months, but it's been amazing to see how many people have maintained and looking for content, and that they can do it right at their desk. They don't need to go out and see it. And it's definitely been a shocker. I mean, literally, I had sleepless nights. I put my March, April issue out. I was fighting with my printer. I didn't know if the magazine was get delivered. The offices were closed. I was going to waste postage. I mean, so I put it in. Then I was like, okay, what am I going to do? I'm bi-monthly. I can't do my cocktail parties once a month that I was doing. My events. What am I going to do? And my editor's like, go digital. And I was like, well, I'm old school. So we went from printing 5,000 copies and sending out maybe 30,000 emails with a new issue link or a newsletter to 125,000. And now it's, but do I miss the post office? No. Okay. Do I miss, that my whole thing is, but I was bi-monthly. I went monthly. Now, when I closed an issue, I used to have that little buffer in between where I could take a breath. Now it's boom, the next one. This podcast, I was only going to do one a month. Now I was doing them one a week. And it definitely, it's like transformed. But I've learned more about my business and other people's businesses too, as they evolved, as it is, as a partner, that it's been a learning experience. I've learned so much in the last year about everything. I've turned the news off. I don't even want, I just get everything kind of on the web and do my own research and make my own decisions, and but it's been kind of nice. I mean, I don't miss TV. I don't miss sports. I don't miss any of that stuff, and the deck was the first thing that I did, but I'm glad I did it when I did, because the 2x4 that I bought for $8, 3 or 4 months after I would have done it, was like $20, let alone the paint, and so what's one of the hottest products that PPG has come out with this year, or in the last couple months, or what's new? What's the hot thing?
Yeah.
Let her listen what the hot thing is. You're the marketing person. Come on, throw something at us.
So I'll say one product that we're super proud of that launched just last year is our Ultra Last paint in the PPG brand. So it's an interior paint plus primer that is really game-changing innovation. And the reason why I personally am so fascinated by this product is that our team took the best of our cross-business unit capabilities and expertise and applied it to architectural coatings. So PPG, as you mentioned, is a global cross-industry coatings provider. We have our, individual business units that we play in, but we're able to leverage each other's strengths and knowledge. So the PPG Ultra Last product leverages, it features our PPG Clean Surface technology, which leverages expertise from our automotive and our consumer electronics coatings industries, and combine that to this incredible resin technology that really just provides breakthrough stain repellency and washability. So instead of those stains sitting on your surface and soaking in and you having to get out that magic eraser and burnish your wall,
Sure.
now you can just wipe it off. It's pretty phenomenal to see it in person. It's literally like you scrub other basic paints or competitors paints, you got to put some elbow into it, and ours, it just washes right off when in 1 or 2 swipes, just with your basic cleaning product as well. So it's great for, you know, homeowners who are looking for premium paint on their walls that they can wash off. I mean, with my 3.5-year-old walking around with, or, you know, candy and juice and crayons and
Sure.
all that comes right off. But it's also great for the professional space as well, because, you know, if you're having to wash it less or put less effort into it, it's saving your people time, it's saving you money. You may not have to repaint as often because it keeps that, you know, fresh look on the walls a lot longer and provides that really nice premium coverage, and just, again, that, you know, that just wipe it off with ease benefit that you really can't get anywhere else.
Retailers, they redo their stores, most of them, you know, 3 to 4 or
Yep.
5 years, and paint's always at hoteliers. I can go down the list, you know, so anything that can take that maintenance component out of it, and where it has durability and it's length of life,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yep.
You know,
and when you think about, I mean, retail's a really great example too, because when you think about retailers, they have to maintain their brand standards, right? And they have to drive that consistency across all their locations. So they might have some really tough to achieve colors that just like burnish and mar right away. But with this, with the burnish and mar resistance, you can have that really vibrant color palette. You can have, you know, that like just really premium look that lasts a lot longer than your basic paint.
Yeah. If you were going to leave our audience out there in commercial construction coffee talk land with one thought or phrase as we, you know, go into the last quarter of 2021, what would it be, coming from a PPG person?
I'll say this from a PPG person, but also just a person. I think being nimble and embracing change is really important. I mean, we talked about it a little bit with the shift to digital, and just, you know, the changes that everyone's had to make over the past year and a half. I think the changes, they've come fast. I think that when you can, you know, stay nimble, find the solutions, find the workarounds if you need workarounds, and really embrace that change and look for the opportunity out of it. It's, you know, it's the best thing that we can do as people to cope, but also the best way that, you know, we as a business, and PPG specifically, can make sure that we're being a part of that change and enabling our customers for success.
If any of our listeners out there in commercial construction coffee talk land wanted to get in touch with a PPG professional, tongue twister there, or yourself, how would they reach out to you?
Yeah, so anyone can visit us and learn about our products on ppgpaints.com. And then, you know, if you want to reach out to us, we have a really easy to navigate contact form that points you to the right person based on your question or inquiry, including myself and my team. We get those as well. So that is ppgpaints.com/contact.
Awesome. Awesome. For those of you out there that want to get in touch with me, you can get me at davidc@ccr-mag.com. If you're not a subscriber, you can go to ccr-mag.com. Up on our toolbar there, it says hit subscribe. I'm always looking for editorial, and it's like playing the lottery. I know I always say that too. If you don't buy a ticket, you can't win. So if you don't send me something, I can't print it or find something on social media or post it or whatever. So if you got a really cool story or something cool that you're doing out there that you think our listeners or our subscribers and so forth would like to know about, send it to me. We look at everything. So you know, that's what publishers do. You know, we like playing with everything, looking at everything. So well, this has been really interesting. You know, jewelry, candy, mom, marketing manager, paint, coatings, waterproofing, you know, big company, you know, went through the kind of the same thing that I did, you know, like I said, you know, you got, you know, I'm here with the male dominated house. You got your husband, I feel for him in there, you know, 4 women, you know, you nugget, you know, so, but for everybody out there, you know, listen, it's the end of the summer, Labor Day is coming up, you know, this weekend. So we hope everybody out there, you know, you all earned it. So, take your day, have fun with your family. Hopefully the weather will be nice, not too hot. Stay hydrated. Remember, wash your hands, don't touch your face, and, keep your surroundings. You're going to be okay. You're going to make it. And with that said, Miss Catie out in Pittsburgh, say goodbye to our listeners out there in Commercial Construction Coffee Talk. We really appreciate you sitting in here for a couple of minutes and tell us about PPG and what it has to offer. So say goodbye to everybody.
Yeah, thanks again for having me, and bye to all the listeners. Stay safe, enjoy the weekend.
And everybody out there, listen, like I said, enjoy the weekend. We hope you all, stay safe. Have a great rest of the last quarter of the year. Let's end 2021 off on a positive note. Close the year on this books, and hopefully in 2022, we'll get back to maybe even more of a normal. But like we said, I think this thing is here to stay. So with that said, David Corson signing off from Suwanee, Georgia. Miss Catie Landis out in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Thank you so much once again, and we will see you next time on another episode of Commercial Construction Coffee Talk. Catie, thank you so much. You're great. All right.
Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you later. See